Okay, so this is my EDOL 647 signature assessment project. My name is James Mauser. This was supposed to be, it is a PLC action project. So this was supposed to be presented in my PLC, although it is the summer. So this video is kind of going to be like what it was like, or what it would have been like to present this to my PLC to kind of show the implementations that I've done, and the research that I found behind it with the data, and kind of ways to go about it, with improving it, um, so that they could be able to implement it in their classrooms or any other classrooms around the school community. So that's kind of what this is going to be about, the implementations I put in place, and how it kind of helped my classroom improve. So moving on to the next part, this is kind of like the table of contents slide, what each slide is about. So if you have access to this, I want to go back and look at it, it'd make it easier for you. The agenda for this presentation and what it's kind of going to be about. So first, we'll be reviewing the vision statement that has been made for my PLC and kind of how we are going to improve and do better. Secondly, we're going to discuss the PLC project I put in place, the implementations I put into my classroom, and then we're going to look at some of the data, and a chart that I've made for the students that had this implementation, and goals moving forward and how we can kind of improve and do better with it. So first off, the vision statement for my PLC, this is kind of put into place. So we will have goals to reach for throughout the school year and be the best possible PLC that we could possibly be for our school and for our school district. So a vision statement that we have put in place is, as a PLC, we will become one of the top PLCs in our school district. We will use our passion for teaching to analyze data to discover and develop the best ways to reach our students to advance them towards the mastery of our curriculum. We will make sure that the students are fully aware of what is expected of them and will consistently work to develop their skills of where they need to be. So with that, we're kind of looking to make sure that we're always improving our students and make sure that we're setting them up for the best possible outcome. Make sure that they're developing their skills not only for the next grade level, but also for higher education once they get past high school or into the workforce that many of them will go into, um, either after college or after high school, to make sure that they can survive inside the real world. So this is kind of what happened within my classroom and what I kind of, decided what needed to be better and a problem that needed to be fixed. So first off, the problem in my classroom, I had seen not only throughout the school, but in specifically in my classroom, that there were a few students throughout a couple of my classes that had struggled to stay quiet, when they needed to. This will be something that will improve throughout this, with strategies and plans to help the students control themselves until they are able to discuss, throughout time in the classroom or, just in general. So the strategy that I had selected was that the students will be given a post-it note on their desk, that makes it very easy, very simple for the teacher to implement into their classroom. That was something that was very important. Didn't want to add another task onto the teacher, just something easy, accessible that they can do to kind of help the students. And then with this sticky note on their desk, they will give a tally mark when they're found to be talking when they're not supposed to. If they're under the 3 tallies, kinda did the 3 strikes and you're out implement, then, if they're under the 3 strikes for the class, they will be given a reward based on their interests. If they're over the 3 tally marks, they will not receive a reward, and must try again tomorrow. The reward is very important because you need to make a connection with your students and figure out what motivates them, what are they into, so that the reward is something that entices them to be able to try to stay under these 3 tallies every day. So the plan is to implement this to give the students a positive reinforcement to help the students to know when it is right and wrong to talk in class. This will allow the students and teachers to increase the difficulty over time as behavior improves. So the ultimate goal of this is to slowly, as they improve and get better behavior, to keep pushing them to do better, and ultimately move down from the 3 strikes on the post-it note to ultimately having no strikes that they try to get to. And if they get no strikes, then they receive a reward. But this is something that will gradually be done over time. But right now we're starting with the 3 tallies for the 2 weeks. So the part 2 of this, the action plan for intervention number 1, I will find out what the interests are for the students through the connection that we'll make. And based on the connection that I make with them, we will discuss the plan for putting the sticky note in place, how many strikes they get, what the overall goal is, and what they need to accomplish to be able to receive the reward. Once again, make sure that it's something that motivates them, entices them to be able to meet this 3-strike reward. I will be checking their sticky note every day to make sure they have less than 3 strikes and make sure that they're under that 3-strike mark for the class. If they're under the 3 mark for that class, they will receive their selected reward that they have decided that they would want, whether it be candy or something that motivates them. I made sure that we discussed the expectations for them and that they are only allowed to talk in class when they are given permission during certain activities. All students participating in this will be held to the same expectation and will be on track for their progress for over 2 weeks. So this will be done over a 2-week school span or 10 school days total, 5 days for each week. So after implementing this intervention in my class, and holding the students accountable and doing this, we see here, with this chart of the data that I've collected, that most of the students were able to reach their goal the majority of the days throughout the 2 weeks. We see student 3 reached it 9 of the 10 days, student 1 and 4 reached it 8, student 2 reached it 6. So they're both over majority. So they were able to get the rewards almost every day or majority of the 2 weeks. So we can see that it was a little bit easy for them. So then we could start to implement as we go on into lessening those strikes that they were able to reach for that class. So moving on to the reflection and possible next steps. From the small amount of data that I have collected from the 2-week span, it seems that the intervention is working for the students. They were able to reach it majority of the days. They were able to improve their behavior and their talking during class. The 4 students have improved and been able to reach their goal of the reward for the day, majority of the 10 days. So possible next steps for this, we will continue the intervention number 1 and continue to have that implemented with the students trying to reach their goals with the sticky note. Although we may try to improve it over the next 2 weeks and then so on and so forth. Although in class, as a teacher, I will start implementing more group work in the class and more pair talking to provide the students with a chance to be able to speak out, especially on the curriculum, and be able to enhance their skills with the content that we will be teaching. Then we will increase the goals as time goes on, making it more and more difficult for the students to be able to reach their goal and be able to increase their behavior so it feels like that they have reached something and improved on themselves. So let's move on to implementation 2. In this implementation, like I said on the last slide towards the end, we will look for other ways to implement to improve the students' ways in the classroom and their behavior. The first implementation that I'm making for my class is, like I said, to put more group work and partner talks for the students to be able to have the opportunity to collaborate and talk during instructional time. This will help the students be able to get their talking out while being able to discuss relevant content for the class and be able to interact with the work to be able to reach that mastery goal. Secondly, we will be increasing the goal for them to get their reward from 3 to 2 for the next 2 weeks in this class period. This will slowly increase to the point where there are no marks. Although in this short sample size, we are working slowly towards this final goal so that we will ultimately be able to reach it. because ultimately we want to be able to where there's no distractions, no talking out loud, and that they understand and have that sense of pride of what they have accomplished for themselves, that they're no longer causing a distraction. So this will be the YouTube link for this presentation to be able to get if you need to review this presentation or the slide deck. Goals going forward. The goal of this project was to help increase the behavior of students talking. It was to help improve students on knowing and understanding when they're able to talk during the classroom, so that they have that right understanding of when they're able to talk over the content and when it's wrong for them to do that. The next steps going forward in the classroom would be to progress the goals harder to make sure for the students to achieve it. So the improvement would continue. As the goals get harder, rewards would continue to come for the students. So from that 3 strike point, we go down to 2, and then so on and so forth till we get no strikes. And if they get 1 strike, then they can't get a reward. This strategy and method would be able to be used on any student to help improve the classroom behavior that is struggling. It can also be used for not only this school year or school years to come, but also this upcoming school year, and being able to make connections with the students, that it would help this entire next school year, no matter what student, no matter what point of the year you're at. That was kind of one of the main goals for me, is that I want to make it easy on the teacher, also rewarding for the student for their improvement, but also not putting an extra task on the teacher. So that was one of the reasons that this was kind of simple. It was a post-it note. That's all you need, and you just got to be able to provide that with the student and be able to quickly count up the tallies, and just kind of keep the data for that to see their improving goal, whether they're able to move on to the next part or they need to stay at that tally until they improve. And then you can kind of increase the difficulty of it. But as long as it makes it very easy for the teacher, makes it easy for the student, and it kind of gives them a way to improve in the classroom. So that was kind of my presentation. You'd be able to watch this on YouTube. This is kind of what it would have been like if I was able to present this to my PLC. I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you could leave them in the comments or anything like that, or reach out to me. I want to thank you for watching again. Thank you for taking the time and looking at the data that I have implemented into my classroom, and possibly an intervention strategy that you could use into yours. Thank you again. Have a good day.